Hey guys, what's up? I'm Erin and welcome back to the channel. Are you honest about money? Do you like having money conversations? Well, recently I ran across this article titled 94% of Americans confess to lying about money. So it seems like the vast majority of us are stretching the truth or just outright fibbing when it comes to money matters. But I suppose context matters. The context of what you're discussing, who you're discussing it with, because how much details you're willing to give are really going to depend on who you're talking to, don't you think? Like the conversations I'm willing to have about money with my husband or say my best friend are very different from the money conversations I'd be willing to have with someone like my neighbor. This article claims to have found the top 10 money lies, so let's see if we're guilty of any of them. Lied about how much they've spent on something, claiming to have spent less than they did. I have 100% done this, but I feel like it's in a more benign way. My mom does it too, again, in a benign way. The first memory I have of this, I remember going out and buying pasties, which are these handheld meat pies that are very common in the UP or the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. So if you're a Youper, you know what I'm talking about. The pasties were about $7 a piece. My mom and I went out and bought dinner, brought it back to my grandparents' house. My grandma asked to see the receipt because she wanted to know the price. My grandma was very frugal, and when she saw that they were $7 a piece, she's like, that's it, it's too expensive, we're never going back there again. The problem is these pasties were delicious, so the next time we went out to get them, we just threw out that receipt before we got home, and when grandma asked how much those pasties were, we're like, $4. And I can definitely say I've done this in other situations as well, like when I go shopping, sometimes I just round down the price that I've actually spent. I remember I recently went and bought some leggings and a sweater, and my husband said, how much did you spend? And I said, oh, about $150. It was actually $165 or $170, but again, I feel like that's rather benign. On the other hand, I know people who do this in a not so benign way. I know a gentleman who bought a car for $150,000, but told his family it was a $100,000 car. So I feel like that's worse than my $15 discrepancy, but I mean, either way, it is blurring lines. Next, we have the flip side. Lied about how much they've spent on something, claiming to have spent more than they did. I can genuinely say I don't think I've ever done this one. I don't really like spending money, so why would I stretch the truth claiming to spend more than I actually have? And I am a deal hunter. I will wait for things to go on sale. I'm in no rush to buy anything. I will wait months if I have to. If you're an OG follower of this channel, you probably know the story of the couch sitting behind me. Took a year and a half to commit to buying a couch, but I do love that couch. Suggested they are more well off than they are in terms of savings and investments. Again, that's a no for me. Someone recently left a comment on this channel saying that he taught his kids growing up that you can either look rich or you can be rich. And I think there's a lot of truth to that. I was raised in a very frugal and hardworking family, but I definitely think there's a lot of this in society today, especially with social media. There's so many people posting photos of fancy cars and fancy vacations, the latest, greatest, whatever it may be. I've read stories about people going into debt for vacations or renting fancy cars just to take a photo with it and post it on social media. And I just can't wrap my head around that. I think I'll always be most impressed by the millionaire next door types of people. They work hard, success comes, but it takes decades, and they still retain all their core values and live a modest lifestyle. That's why so many people love Warren Buffett. They don't love him because of his net worth. They love him because he's humble, because he's full of wisdom, and because he just seems like a guy you want to have a burger with. So remember, you can either look rich or you can actually be rich. Kept the amount of money they have in savings secret from their partner. This one's a hard no for me. Consider that almost 40% of people have broken up with their partner over something finance related. I don't think you can have a healthy relationship and not be open about your finances. I can say early on in a relationship, you're not really having those deep dive conversations about finances. Rather, it's more broad conversations like spending habits, savings habits. You're not going into the nitty-gritty details talking about the account balances that you have. Only once your relationship gets more serious do you discuss those kind of details, generally speaking. But once you're in a committed relationship, you should not be keeping your finances a secret. My husband and I actually get really excited about discussing our finances. We call it running our numbers, and we do it, I would say, once a quarter. We discuss progress we've made or changes we would like to make, goals we're going after. So I can definitely say we're very open with our finances. secretly borrowed money or taken out a loan without telling their partner? Absolutely not. I don't think anyone should be doing this. I think you have to be on the same page with your partner financially. You can't be taking out money, going into debt without their knowledge. In my opinion, this would be grounds for ending a relationship. So just a hard no. Lied about how much they earn, claiming to earn less than they do. Also on this list is lied about how much they earn, claiming to earn more than they actually do. No on both of these accounts. I feel like if you're not going to be honest, just don't have the conversation. I think it's really beneficial in life to have people you feel like you can discuss your finances with. In my family, we are very open with our finances. I even have a couple girlfriends where we talk in detail about our finances, where we're at in our careers, our salaries, our investments, everything. And of course, who you're comfortable discussing things with is going to be personal to you. Some people have a lot of people that they're comfortable discussing these details with. Others, maybe it's just one or two people. I look at these as very value-added conversations. It helps me to gauge where I'm at in life and look for areas where I can make some improvements. But if you're not comfortable having these types of conversations, then I simply think you should say that and you should avoid them. I don't really think you should throw out a figure that exaggerates your salary in one direction or another because it's not going to be a value-added conversation if it's not true. I would just make a statement like, hey, it's just something I'm not comfortable discussing. Lied about their finances to get out of social events. 100% I have done this one. I actually think this is the best fib on the list. I think of this one as kind of a white lie. The way I interpret it, it's just free rein to say, hey, it's not in the budget this month. I have used this for pretty much anything. Wedding across the country and I don't want to go? It's not in the budget. Late night event when I would rather stay home? It's not in the budget. I've used it for non-social events like buying items for the home or when my family is constantly asking me, when are you going to buy a new car? I don't know. It's not in the budget. So I think when it comes to this excuse, I think you get the green light. Whether or not it's true, it's an easy way to get out of things that aren't important to you without hurting other people's feelings. And when it comes to your money, you want to be spending money in a way that you're prioritizing what matters most to you. So don't spend money on things that don't matter to you. Secretly dipped into a joint savings to buy something without telling their partner. There's a lot of doing X, Y, and Z without telling their partner on this list, and I don't think you can have a healthy relationship when you're constantly keeping things from your partner. Go back to that stat of 40% of people have ended a relationship over finances. Money can be a big sticking point for couples. It can be a source of conflict, and financial tension is a common predictor of marital distress. But it makes sense. Finance has a way of permeating all aspects of our lives, and it's hard enough to build a life with someone and get on the same page for all major issues, including finances. So if you're deliberately doing things in secret and you're hiding things from your partner, there's no way to have a successful relationship. When I think about savings, I tend to think about emergency funds and investments that are for the future. And I certainly don't think you should be touching those without talking to your partner first, especially for significant amounts. We have a general rule of thumb in our household that we'll discuss purchases that are over, say, $250 or $300 and just make sure we're on the same page financially. Gone into overdraft without telling their partner. Again, with the not telling the partner in this one. And this one kind of feels like a double whammy. One, you shouldn't be overdrafting your account, but two, if you do, you shouldn't be hiding it from your partner. This sounds like a situation where both you and your partner need to sit down and create a better budget, one that you can stick to so you don't overdraft your account. And if you're in a relationship where you feel like you can't tell your partner these things, perhaps that's not the healthiest relationship. Now, when it comes to finances, who you're comfortable talking about finances with is going to be personal to you. But just remember, you can discuss finances without getting into the nitty-gritty details. You don't have to say, oh, I have this amount in my checking account, or this is the amount that's printed on my paycheck every single week. You can talk about financial habits in a broad sense if you want to have these type of conversations. I think the most damaging lies on this list are the ones where you're trying to hide your financial issues from your partner, because I think it's really hard or impossible to have a healthy relationship if you're deliberately being deceptive with your finances. You have to have open communication, and I certainly don't think you can find a way to avoid talking about finances with your partner. Other lies on this list were really more about putting on airs and keeping up with those proverbial Joneses. And if you do that, you're just going to end up wreaking havoc on your own finances. So certainly some of the lies on this list are worse than others. Some are white lies, others can be truly damaging. Are you guilty of any of the lies on this financial list? Share your thoughts in a comment down below. I post new videos every single week. If you got anything at all out of this one, please give it a like. If you're new here, please consider subscribing, or if you know of someone who might get something out of this type type of content, please consider sharing. I'll see you soon. Bye.